Imagine waking up one morning and like everything you thought you knew, like all of history, totally flipped on its head.
Wild, right?
That's exactly what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
Philip K. Dick's The Man in the High Castle,
Oh.
where, get this, the Axis powers, they win World War II.
Interesting.
We've got excerpts from the novel, some book reviews too, different perspectives and all. Even pulled some historical background to like really get into this whole alternate 1962 America.
Got to set the stage.
Right.
Yeah. And what gets me right off the bat is, Dick doesn't just give us this like straight up what if history lesson.
Right.
It's not just, oh, this battle went a different way. It's like he gets into the little things, the everyday stuff that would be totally different.
It's eerie.
It really makes you feel it, This other reality, he makes it real.
And kind of terrifying, right? Like, we're talking about a fractured America here.
Totally.
Pacific states under Japanese rule.
Hold on.
Nazis controlling the East Coast.
Wild.
And then stuck in the middle, the Rocky Mountain states.
Trying to keep the peace, right?
This uneasy buffer, yeah.
It's a powder keg.
So how does Dick even start unraveling history like this? Where's the turning point?
He nails it down to one event. Can you believe that?
Really?
The assassination of President Roosevelt.
No way. Back in 1933.
That's the one.
Wow.
In our timeline, he pulls through.
Right.
But in Dick's world, that bullet, that one bullet, it changes everything.
Talk about a butterfly effect.
Right.
One bullet and the entire 20th century goes sideways.
History on a dime.
But it's not just the big picture stuff, right? Like the presidents and the wars.
Oh.
It's the everyday stuff, how people are actually living under occupation.
That's where it gets real,
Exactly.
We see all that through the characters.
Okay, so, give us an example.
Take Robert Sheldon. He's an antique dealer.
Okay.
But his clientele, they're all Japanese.
It makes sense.
And they're obsessed with pre-war American stuff, relics of the past.
It's like they conquered the country, but they're still, weirdly drawn to its culture.
Totally. And that's the thing. You see that throughout history.
Really?
Oh, yeah. This fascination with artifacts from a culture you basically wiped out.
Never thought about it like that.
Almost like by owning these pieces of the past, it validates their victory. But at the same time, there's this underlying insecurity there, wouldn't you say?
They need these objects to legitimize themselves.
Exactly.
It's creepy.
It's heavy stuff.
Especially, thinking about when Dick was writing this, the 1960s.
Cold War anxieties.
That fear of, your whole way of life just disappearing.
Vanishing.
Poof.
Gone.
All over the book.
Pervades it.
And it's not just culture, right? The book talks about the Nazis and how they took the final solution, and expanded it to Africa in this alternate timeline. It's heavy stuff.
And that's the thing with Dick, right? He isn't afraid to go there.
No, not at all.
Even if it makes us uncomfortable. He makes us look at what might have been.
It makes you realize how fragile everything is, the world as we know it.
For sure.
But then on top of all that, all this bleakness, he throws in another layer. This book, within the book, The Grasshopper Lies Heavy.
Now it gets interesting.
Because Grasshopper, it depicts a world where the Allies won World War II, right?
Mirror.
It's like we're holding up a mirror to an already distorted reflection.
Exactly. So we've got the reality of Dick's world, Axis victory.
Right.
And then inside that, the reality of Grasshopper, Allied victory.
But it's not our reality.
Not quite.
So how is it different?
Little things, but they make you think.
Like what?
In Grasshopper, Roosevelt doesn't go for a fourth term.
Huh.
Small change, huge ripple effect, right?
So even winning the war, it could have gone down differently.
Exactly.
Makes you wonder about, fate versus free will.
The big questions.
Especially since, Dick throws the I Ching into the mix.
Yeah, Ching.
Yeah, the ancient Chinese text for divination.
Oh, right.
It's like he's saying, even with this meticulously planned out alternate reality, chance still has a role to play.
Chaos finds a way.
So we've got layers of reality, this whole fate versus free will thing, and this, underlying tension that just seeps into everything.
Dick's world in a nutshell.
So who are these people, these characters living through all this?
It's really the characters.
Yeah.
Their stories. That's what makes this alternate world feel so real.
Okay, so who are we talking about?
Well, there's Frank, just a regular guy trying to get by under Japanese rule.
Sounds simple enough.
But he's got this secret, a huge one.
Let me guess, he's got a thing for antique radios.
Bigger than that.
Okay, lay it on me.
He's Jewish.
Whoa. Okay, that's not good in this world, right?
Yeah, not good at all. Basically a death sentence.
Makes you think, even the smallest things, what you say, how you act.
Every move is a risk.
Exactly, like living on a knife edge.
Frank's story, it really highlights the human cost of these regimes.
Not just the big, scary ideas, but the day-to-day fear.
The constant need to hide who you are.
It's heavy stuff.
No doubt.
So then we have Juliana, right? And she gets completely sucked into the grasshopper lies heavy.
Totally captivated.
This book, it sparks something in her.
Like a fire.
She's got to find the author, Hawthorne Abinson.
A pilgrimage.
What's that all about, you think?
It's interesting, right? Because you've got Frank trying to disappear.
Right, blend in.
Exactly. And then you've got Juliana. She's diving headfirst into the unknown, chasing after this book.
Different ways of dealing with, well, everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. Different ways of coping with oppression, wouldn't you say?
Some people hide, some people seek.
Here
right?
we go.
But the grasshopper lies heavy. It's not just a beacon of hope, is it? There are some who don't see it that way at all.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like we've got Rudolf Wegener, this high-ranking Nazi official,
Top brass.
and he sees the book as like this major threat.
Subversion.
So this book, within a book, it's causing real-world problems, even in this fictional setup.
Oh, absolutely. It becomes this focal point, this symbol of resistance, and maybe even a trigger for more chaos.
Wegener thinks it could set off a war between Germany and Japan.
He sees the potential, the fragility of the whole thing.
Wow, so we're talking about a work of fiction, even in this alternate reality,
Yeah.
having the power to, like, change the course of history. That's the power of ideas.
Right.
Of art, to shake things up, even in a world built on fear.
It's kind of inspiring in a weird way.
And don't forget, Wegener's a defector.
Right. She's already gone against his own people once.
Betrayal.
But he's still so fixated on order, on control, even if it means, banning a book.
Irony.
That's what's so fascinating about these characters, right? They're not just good guys and bad guys.
That's no easy answer.
So they're driven by their own, internal stuff.
Motivations, fears, desires.
Exactly. And the grasshopper lies heavy. It affects them all, but in totally different ways.
Ripples on a pond.
So we've talked about Juliana's journey, Wegener, and his fears, but what about the author himself, Hawthorne Abinson?
The man of mystery.
Right. For most of the book, he's this, phantom, a rumor.
A ghost in the machine.
And then Juliana finally finds him.
Face to face.
So what's he like? Does he have all the answers? This guy who imagined a whole different reality.
Well, that's where it gets even more interesting, and where the I Ching comes back into play.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Abinson, he admits it, he used the I Ching to guide his writing of The Grasshopper Lies Heavy.
Wait, seriously? He's using an ancient Chinese text for divination to write a book about an alternate reality.
That's Dick for you. Layers upon layers.
So he's casting coins, consulting hexagrams, letting chance dictate his narrative.
In a way, surrendering control to something bigger.
So the creator of this alternate reality, a reality where the Allies won, is basically saying it was all chance. That's a lot to unpack.
Right. And it circles right back to that question of fate versus free will.
If the author himself is bowing to the randomness of the I Ching,
The coins fall where they may.
what does that say about us? About our ability to actually shape our own destinies.
The big questions, right? The ones that keep us up at night.
It's like Dick is saying, no matter how much we try to control things, how much we plan and scheme,
Life finds a way.
there's always that element of the unknown.
Chaos lurking just beneath the surface.
Exactly. And just when you think you're starting to grasp the layers of this story, Dick throws in that scene with Mr. Tagomi.
The trade official.
Yeah, the one where he's looking at that piece of jewelry, the one with the tiny cityscape.
Right, and he sees the Embarcadero Freeway.
Which shouldn't exist in this version of San Francisco.
Exactly. It's like he's seeing through a crack in reality, a glimpse of something impossible.
And remember, Tagomi, he's obsessed with the I Ching, right?
Always consulting it.
Maybe all that I Ching stuff opened up his perception or something.
Maybe it's a connection to something bigger.
So what are we saying? Is Dick suggesting there's another reality out there? One where the Allies actually did win World War II and Tagomi's tapped into it somehow?
Or is it all in his head? A hallucination.
This is a lot to process.
Dick at his finest.
That's a Dick for you, right? Likes to keep us guessing.
He's not big on handing out easy answers, that's for sure.
Leaves you wrestling with the uncertainty, the what-ifs.
And that Tagomi scene, man, it's like a crack in the Matrix or something. You're getting a glimpse beyond this, perfectly crafted alternate world.
Makes you question everything.
Exactly. What's real, what isn't, the whole shebang.
Isn't that what good sci-fi is all about? Making you look twice at your own reality.
Absolutely. And The Man in the High Castle, it really takes you there.
No doubt.
It's not just about who wins a war.
It's about the choices people make when things get rough, the weight of history, the search for meaning when everything's gone haywire.
We've been digging deep into these characters, their journeys, their own little searches for truth, but how does it all wrap up? Does Dick give us any kind of resolution?
That's the thing about The Man in the High Castle. It doesn't really give you a nice, neat ending.
So no grand finale.
Some people, they find it frustrating, this lack of closure.
What happens to everyone? What about that other reality, the one Tagomi sees? Is it real?
Dick leaves it open, you decide.
So many questions.
There's a feeling of change in the air, though.
Like things are about to go down.
The balance between the Nazis and the Japanese is getting shaky.
Oh, yeah. Definitely not a friendly partnership.
But we don't get to see how it plays out, what happens next.
It's like we're standing on the edge of a cliffhanger, but then the screen cuts to black.
And in a way, that's what makes it so powerful, so haunting.
How so?
It's like real life,
right? Okay, I see what you mean.
We're always looking for those concrete answers, trying to find solid ground in a world that's constantly shifting.
Always searching for certainty, even when there's none to be found.
And just when we think we've got it figured out, something happens, throws us for a loop, and we're back to square one.
It's like that whole I Ching thing we were talking about, right? Chance, fate, the unknown, it's always there, lurking in the shadows.
Exactly. You can plan all you want, but sometimes the coins fall where they may, and you just got to roll with it.
So what's the takeaway here? What's Dick trying to tell us?
I think he's reminding us that even when things seem bleak, even when the odds are stacked against us, there's always hope, always the potential for change.
Even in a world as messed up as the one he's created.
Especially then. Maybe that's why that scene with Tagomi and the Embarcadero Freeway is so powerful.
It gives us a sliver of hope.
It suggests that there's always something more out there, beyond what we can see, beyond what we think we know.
A different possibility, a different path.
Exactly. And maybe, just maybe, we have the power to choose it.
That's a powerful thought, especially given everything we've just discussed.
It is, and it's a testament to Dick's genius, how his stories stay with you long after you've finished reading them.
They make you think, they make you question.
And sometimes, that's all you can ask for from a great work of art.
Well said. And on that note, we've come to the end of our deep dive into The Man in the High Castle. We've explored a world turned upside down, grappled with characters pushed to their limits, and maybe, just maybe, glimpsed a different version of history.
We've seen firsthand how one event can unravel the fabric of time, and how even in the face of unimaginable oppression, the human spirit still searches for meaning, for connection, for something bigger than itself.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. And remember, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep into the worlds around us. We'll see you in the next one.